Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new episode of Last Cloudia. As you can see on my screen, I was able to pull one of my favorite characters I've ever seen in history, and we're going to talk about the banner and find out why. So let's go ahead and check it out. Alright, so this is going to be AOG Melee. That's right. So let's check her out. So first off, I do like her character design for specific reasons. And when I first saw this character, like in the story, I knew I was going to want to pull for when she dropped, and did not disappoint. Now, she is a god type, which I actually forgot that she would be a god type because I forgot about the whole advocate thing, but that's a good thing to notice. As far as her stats are concerned, she has pretty strong stats overall. Strength over 1,500, defense over 1,100, and even her int and mind is at like all close to 1,000, to be honest. So that's actually pretty cool. And her HP stat is pretty strong as well. She's just good all around. So taking a look at her resistances, she does get a plus 10 to light and plus 15 to dark, weak to ice. And as far as ailment resistance, we have resistance to poison, blind, and we are nil to curse and illness, which is pretty strong. We don't typically see units that are null to multiple ailments, so that's actually pretty good while being resistant to two. That's super good. Really, really strong. Alright, so let's take a look at her abilities. The main thing you need to know about her abilities is that one, she is a light damage, physical damage character. Her first skill has a chance to give blind. Her second skill has a chance to give curse. Her third skill has a chance to give exsanguinate, and or blind. And then you also have a special that will give exsanguinate. Oh god, this name is hard to say, but exsanguinate. So basically, it has a chance to give curse. So basically, all of her skills basically have a research built into them. Now, typically, research is something that only works on a basic attack. These skills have a chance to actually cause these status elements, which is super strong. All right, let's take a look at the traits. We have Divine Forfex. So this is when two swords are equipped, physical attack damage plus 50%, crit damage plus 25%, damage cap 5,000. The final attack of both skill 3 and the special greatly cuts enemy defense, and then boost damage cap by 100,000 and deal damage. So first off, you do have to have two swords for some of this to work, which is similar to how Logia was built. I think he had to have two swords to get a lot of his abilities as well. So similar thing. I mean, this character is basically the much stronger version of Logia. We'll keep moving though. Sadistic urges. Duration of status elements given by a unit plus 50%. Damage from physical attacks and specials to enemies with exsanguinate plus 20%. Damage cap 4,000. Boost physical attack and special damage based on the number of status elements on an enemy. For each, damage plus 12%. Damage cap 2,000. Maximum is 60% with a damage cap of 10,000. So the more statuses you put on an enemy, more negative status you put on an enemy, the more damage and damage cap this lady will be able to do. Super strong. Absolutely love it. Now let's take a look at her skills. So we're looking at Serversio Anima. So this is an anima with physical damage to all enemies plus 10%. Alright, pretty decent. And then we have Giga Shaker. All enemies crit rate minus 15%. That's pretty strong. I think the only character that I'm aware of that has this might be Gen. I'm not sure. I never pulled him. I think he has something like that. And possibly one other character. We have Anula Mouth, which makes sense because, this basically increases the chance for them to status an enemy. Fighting Spirit 4, crit up 3, advanced aim vitals. So we got a decent little crit package starting. Human Slayer, which is pretty strong. Curse research, stun research, and ecology research. Now the ecology one basically gives you a chance to inflict a basic status element to an enemy with normal attack, which basically means you can do a random research is what it basically is. And then we have auto protection. We have auto haste. We have light drive. We have light mega drive. Light attack raise 3, so we got a little bit of a damage cap. Light crit raise, which is always good for you going for the crit build. Goddess Kiss to get her MP back. Terror Mouth 1 and 2, because that makes perfect sense. Basically, if you're giving someone a status element, you'll increase your damage. We have Dual Wield, we have Sword High Boost, we have Sword Mega Boost, so some damage cap right there. Sharp Eyes, so that kind of helps with the Goddess Kiss to deal more damage. Rapid Recovery, so basically it doesn't take her long to get rid of her statuses. Paranoia, when given a new status element to an enemy, recover a little SCT, so that's always good. Goddess Advocate, so reduce chance of taking critical damage. Skills and special attacks have a chance to deal instant death. Of course, it's not happening in the bosses or arena. We have Gash, so skill attacks on enemies with Exsanguinate have a chance to give illness. Bloody Makeover, skill attacks on enemies with that debuff have a chance to absorb 5% of damage as HP. We have Fatal Slash, so when physically attacking using specials on an enemy with that debuff, cut enemy defense minus 15% and deal damage. We're really wanting to give that Exsanguinate debuff on an enemy to get the best of her abilities. And we have Dazzling Wings, chance to nullify physical attack damage taken. If damage is nullified, chance to give enemy blind. So we have a defensive version of research skills, which is kind of cool. I kind of like it. You dodge something and then you can make them blind, which is kind of funny. It's almost like a dancer, You try to hit the dancer dodges, and then the dancer causes a status element. That's kind of the way I envisioned that. But overall, strong kit. Dual wield, super necessary in this. Now, I'm not a huge champion of dual wield. I'm one of the few people that don't mind single wield. But the reason that this is important is because with dual, you do have double the chance of providing a status element to somebody. So in this case, this is one of the few times where I will want dual wield on a character, just like Logia had, and even on V, I actually put dual wield on V because even though it was more for basic attacks, it was still a great way to up your chances of giving a status element. Because that's the main purpose of a character like this, is to provide status elements, and of course all the damage you do is an added bonus. So overall, one of my absolute favorite units I've ever seen. So kind of a history lesson, Logia was my number one favorite unit in the entire game for a very long time. And the sad thing was is I never even got him for the longest time. He was one of two characters that I did not get within the first 9 to 12 months of the game releasing. I never got Shen, the original one, and then I never got Logia for the longest time. So by the time I finally got him, he was already kind of out. He was kind of behind the times, if you will, which is why I didn't get to really have as much fun with him as I would have liked. Now we have a very strong version of what Logia was in this particular character. And I love the idea of giving people status elements and being able to deal some good damage. This is just so much fun. And again, I like the character's design as well, which is another reason, kind of a waifu thing for me. So, best of both worlds. Why would I not want to well for this character? And yes, I would have definitely spent as much money as possible to get her. Thankfully, I did not have to pity her. It did take a little bit, but I was able to eventually get her. But, basically one of my absolute favorite units in this entire game. I'm not going to say number one, but she's arguably my favorite right now. But we'll let that go for now. But yeah, if you pull her, I think you're going to get yourself a fantastic unit. Absolutely. So let's talk about this UR we got, Melee Mare. So, looking at the arc trait, this is obviously at max. So, boost damage as hit count increases. Max of 40% of up to 100 hits or more. When ally other than the unit is incapacitated, give a damage taken minus 30% debuff to a random enemy once per wave. Damage cap 4,000 to enemies with a status element. So the way that I'm going to use this trait basically is for melee or Logia or V, depending on who I decide to give it to. Because I want to probably put on all three of them on the same team just for funsies. Because I love that whole idea of that kind of a team. But yeah, I will just slap this on one of those characters and just go to town with the damage cap. Because we are going to give enemy statuses for sure. As far as the skills you can learn, we actually have some good stuff here. So you have aim vitals, so for crit builds, if you want to throw that on there, you can. I typically don't add aim vitals, mainly because you should at this point in the game be able to get the damage cap without having to use aim vitals. So I don't necessarily need it, but I guess if you're a newer account, you can't quite reach damage cap because you don't have like a lot of this, boost to get there. This is not a bad choice for 4SC. You have Giga Curse, so for 7, basically you have a chance to give everyone Curse. We have Dog Eat Dog for 5SC, skill damage plus 10% against non-bosses. So basically, in a lot of most content, you'll be able to get 10% damage for 5SC. Pretty good deal. We have Blood Force, which we've seen before. We have High Drain, which basically gives you one enemy minus 35% defense for 7SC. And the newest and coolest thing as far as what you can learn in this arc is Terror Melt 3 for 11SC. Damage to enemies with status elements plus 30%. Damage cap to enemies with status elements plus 2,000. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this is the first skill that we can learn that adds damage cap. I might be wrong on that, but I believe this is the first one where you can actually have a skill that gives you some kind of damage cap. That's pretty strong. Now, you might say, man, 11 SC is a lot. But to be able to, well, it's a lot, but the thing is it's worth it. You're getting damage cap, first and foremost, to the characters that basically need it. You know what I mean? For characters that are already going to give the a debuff, why not get more damage and damage cap out of it? So for 11SC, I would say it's worth it. So I think it's great. So this is definitely a great arc by all means. But let's keep going. There's more to talk about. We also have the skill. So at level 10, you give all enemies Blind Curse and Illness. Very powerful dark attack with a chance to insta-kill. Damage cap 15k. Insta-kill excludes bosses in arena, like always. So the fact that you can provide status on this with this skill is pretty cool. And then we also have the item you can earn, which is the Dark Mare Ring. So this is an accessory, 500 hit points, 102 strength, 66 defense, so decent stats. We have damage to enemies with status elements plus 15%. Physical damage taken minus 10%, with a plus 10 to light. So this is something I will definitely give to the new girl, because why not? Like I said, it's just an extra boost to damage to a character that's already going to do the job. And that's probably less SC I'll have to spend on, boosting any kind of damage she would get or, push for. And a little bit of defense is always good too. So it's a pretty good item. So yeah, overall, this is a fantastic arc. Really good trait, cool skill, great things to learn as far as skills are concerned, and a decent arc ether reward. This is what you would call a UR arc. So yeah, I like it 100%. Now, I was fortunate enough to not just pull one, but pull two in the same multi. No, I didn't get it during the step up. This was like one of the paids I did, further back, but I still got it. I'm happy. I actually got this before I got the character, because the character was what I really wanted. It took me a while to get that, but this I got first, and I got two of them, so I'm pretty happy about that. All right, so let's talk about some of the paid stuff. We're going to go and just skip right on over there. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm buying both, straight up, 100% buying both, because I have the credentials. Like I said, I was 100% willing to whale on this character. I did go against my rule, because I was just going to go ahead and do collabs only, which I will continue to follow. This girl was going to be the exception. No one else is going to get the treatment she's getting. That's how much I like her. Moving along, let's talk about these weapons. So, Dark Sheer Dexter. So we get a strength of 268, defense 22, light attribute. So we're looking at light attack damage cap 1500, chance for regular attacks to give exsanguinate, and chance for physical attacks to give poison. So basically that skill, that debuff that's going to basically enhance her account by full, could be done with this weapon without having to use a skill 3 or the special. So super strong, 100%. So yeah, I actually like it, because basically it basically hits her kit the way you want it. And then you also have the second weapon. This is the Dark Sheer Sinister. Light attribute, 268 strength, 22 mind. Crit rate plus 5%. Chance for physical attacks to give silence. Damage to enemies with status elements plus 20%. So again, just more ways to deal extra damage. And of course, if you like crit builds, this will also help you in getting your crits. Now, if you are going to be only getting one of these items, I 100% recommend the Darkshire Dexter, specifically for the ability to give Exsanguinate. That's the biggest reason. The damage cap really is just an added bonus, but the being able to have your regular chance give that particular debuff is super strong. So I 100%, without even having to think about it, say that this is the best one to get. And I'm not saying that this is like leagues better than the other one. The other one's pretty good too. This just wins only because of a specific thing, and that's it. But they're both good weapons. So, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and just purchase both of them because since this is going to be my favorite unit, I'm going to go ahead and completely, get her set up the way that I want and go from there. So there we go. I went ahead and picked up both of them. But yeah, overall, fantastic banner. Has a character that I love so much. A UR arc that's I actually find really, really cool. And I've been fortunate enough to pull both of them without going too crazy. Yes, I did spend a little bit of money, which is something I don't normally do for a banner. But as far as I'm concerned, for this specific character, she's 100% worth it. My waifu at the moment. So there we go. So hopefully this video has given you an idea of what this woman's worth. And if you happen to get her or the arc or both, congrats. Until next time, keep gaming and take care, everyone. Later.